One of the most important things you can do for your AI development agency right now is to make sure that you set up every client you have to some sort of a monthly management fee or monthly retainer fee. Believe me, the last thing that you want to do is to be jumping from one project to another without any financial cushion, to make sure that you are set up for days that maybe you don't have so many clients. And the second thing is, you do not want to be in the situation where a client come at you and say, oh, please, can you do this little change? Can you do that little change, without you actually being properly compensated or not knowing how to bill your clients. You don't want to bill your client like a 1 hour a month. Just doesn't make sense. The whole communication, the whole back and forward is just very not really worth it. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a system that I've designed for my agency that has been working for us, where we structure every deal that we do with some sort of a monthly management fee or monthly retainer, depending on the sometimes also on the value. It doesn't have to be just maintenance fee, similar to like traditional SaaS product, but it could be something that you're also providing value, insights, so the businesses actually feel like they are like you are their technical partner and not just another AI automation agency out there. If you're here for the first time, my name is Sarab. I run an AI automation agency. I have serviced tens of clients all over Europe and internationally, and I'm here trying to share my experience of what things that are actually work in the AI space and what doesn't work. So if you enjoy this video, I appreciate a like and a subscribe. So here's the thing. Most business owners don't want to deal with the technical side. I know that you get so excited about the end-to-end and you want to get your clients involved in everything, but the majority of them, they just want the results, whether it's in the lead gen, whether it's generating some things, whether it's customer support, they just want the end results. And the more you can abstract all this knowledge away from them and save them that headache, the more they're going to appreciate you and the more they're going to be willing to pay you some sort of a maintenance fee or some sort of a retainer. So you are always reserving some capacity for them. And another thing about retainers is a very important thing to ensure that you are available for your client and you're able to respond within a certain amount of hours to whatever thing they need, whether it's an emergency, whether something goes wrong. And if you've been following my content, you are now educated of AI systems are very similar to any software development systems. Things can go wrong, APIs can be shut down, and then you need to react quickly for your clients. And especially if you don't have a retainer model and you picked up other clients as well, you cannot promise them that you can answer them within the right amount of time. And that's why from starting, you should enter this conversation, letting them know like, hey, if you want quick response time, then we need to be able to reserve some capacity for you. And that requires some sort of a monthly management fee. So what I keep seeing online is that the usual case, whenever you try to sell something, let's say if on N8N or make.com or whatever, the clients usually try to create their own account. And then you come as a consultant, build the workflow for them, and then just leave. And then if something happens in the future, which I promise you things gonna happen, they're gonna reach out to you and say like, hey, can you please come? Can you please fix something? And then depending on your availability, you can say yes or no. And that just gives a bad customer experience for the client, a little bit more stress for you because you just didn't manage things very well. So what I would actually recommend in the system that I built is that you host everything on your own. You host the end-to-end for them, whether it's on the cloud version, which I don't recommend because it's quite expensive, or you use other alternatives. So you can actually host end-to-end on a cloud that is under your name and provide these services for your clients. But here, I'm also going to be a little bit careful about what you can and what you cannot do, and I will show you exactly. But regardless who does the hosting, which I would always recommend that you do the hosting, you should always be asking your client for some sort of a management fee to be able to jump in and out in an easy way. I'm going to share with you two scenarios. One where a client created his own account and then something went wrong, and then I had to jump in, fix something, and I actually didn't get paid because it was just not worth my time to go and create an invoice and send the invoice and the communication. So I just asked for it as in good favor. It's like, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to pay. Then the other example was actually something that went really, really wrong. So the client didn't want to create his own account on N8N, so he decided to host it himself. He's working with an IT team that really didn't know how to host N8N properly. He was hosting on Microsoft Azure, if you know the cloud provider. And unfortunately there, they didn't manage to connect the N8N with the right databases. And of course, for somebody who's trying to install workflows from the outside, you don't really know what's going on behind the hood. You just have the user interface, especially if the client said like, yeah, my IT team would take care of this. And then after we created the workflows, 2 days later, something happened and we lost all the work that we've done because it wasn't connected to a proper database. And then the credentials was also lost. So I would really recommend, if you ever encounter these kind of situations, if the client really insists on hosting their own n8n account, to maybe say, hey, we can host it for you. And now I'm going to show you a very easy and efficient way to host your own n8n. This is what I have been doing also so far, and it will save you so much of the costs, especially for solutions that require a lot of executions. n8n is very user-friendly and is very cost-friendly, like the cloud version, if you have things that run not in production, so they're not active workflows. For example, the last month, because a lot of you were interacting with my chatbot, I almost reached the absolute limit of my paid membership. So that was kind of interesting to see, and especially if you are building stuff for small, mid-sized businesses that maybe has a lot of traffic. Let's say a chatbot on their website, you're limited by that cloud provider limitation. So the smallest one, I think it was 2,500 iterations, if I'm not wrong. So 2,500 visitors to your website is already enough for you to reach the upper limit of this pricing strategy. So it definitely makes sense, if you're selling these kind of solutions, to host it on your own. Let me show you real quick how I would host this, how I would abstract the whole knowledge from my user and just provide them the nice experience of having AI-powered application. Also, I'm going to share with you what you should watch out for in n8n, because if you're hosting n8n for yourself, you cannot do everything that you can do with n8n. Maybe let me just share with you right now. So in n8n, if you're trying to provide n8n and host it on your own and provide these services for others, you cannot use it and provide it as if the people are just using n8n. What does that mean? I know, I also confuse myself. Let's say the user wants to connect his Google Sheets or his internal CRMs or all this kind of stuff to embed in their internal business, and they come at you and say, hey, I want to build AI agents that is connected with my own business, doing all these processes with AI intelligence. And then you come and say, okay, no worries, I'll host it for you, and then I plug it for you. This is technically not allowed on the n8n license. It's only allowed if you want to use n8n as a backbone or a SaaS or for a project that you're providing. So what does that mean? If you have a chatbot that you want to deploy on your client's website, or if you just want to send your client a list of leads, or give them some access to an Airtable that is containing these leads, and the client just interact with the Airtable and doesn't share with you any credentials for Google or CRMs or stuff like that n8n build already components for, this is what you can actually host. And I would say this is already for these use cases where you are trying to build a similar like a template and you sell it to multiple clients. All these cases fall under, yes, you can build a template and then sell it to a lot of people. On those other use cases where the business owner want to automate a lot of his business, you are not allowed to do what I'm now gonna show you how to do. So just be careful about that. Just look into their terms of service and see what you're allowed to and what you're not allowed to. They gave a very clear examples of how we violate this license. But at least for the example I'm going to show you in terms of building a chatbot and hosting it on someone's website, and you control the knowledge because you control the vector database and all this kind of stuff, that's absolutely fine. And you can definitely do that. And you can use n8n to save you a bunch of time other than building these things custom from scratch. So without a lot of discussion, let me show you. I'm going to put a link in the description how you can directly go to this cloud provider. What I've seen a lot online. I've seen many different cloud providers, and so far the most common one has been Hostinger, because they have a very easy one button click to install your n8n account. And I think this is super useful, especially after seeing my client struggling and delaying our project by almost 2 to 3 weeks because they didn't connect the database correctly. I think it's very important, if you guys want to do this, you're on your own, and maybe you don't have you're not like a cloud engineers and you don't know like how to connect everything with each other. I think this is the best option to go for. So you can go to the link and it will take you right to where I'm going to show you right now. That's better. Sorry. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do, of course, is to choose a plan. After comparing performance with multiple ones, I've seen like this Kiwi M2 has been so far the best one. The thing is, think a bit of like limited RAM, and if you're running a lot of things at the same time, you might run in a problem where the RAM is full and then the server crash, and then you need to restart the server manually. So this is very important. The same thing happens also on the cloud version of init-n. Sometimes you see the whole user interface got frozen, and then you need to refresh the page. They do the restarting under the hood for you. Here, you need to do it yourself sometimes. Canaf membership with the 8 giga of RAM has been enough. The bandwidth is super fast. It's also super secure. It connects to the database automatically. So I'm really actually quite happy with this so far. So after you click on the choose plan, you can decide what membership you want to have. Of course, the 24 months one would give you the cheapest one, but I would also recommend you to do the daily auto backups. This is the thing that I also felt with my clients. And what you can do is to create it already with init-n, so it's already been chosen for you. So the server come already with init-n installed. I also got us a discount. So if you put my name here in the coupon code, nice. So we get also some money back. I'm not sure how much. So you can also get a 10% discount by adding my name as a coupon in the coupon. And then, of course, you can click on continue and add your card information. And then I will show you how to continue later. So you add here your business information or whatever details, and then you pay. Afterwards, you can come into this area. So I'm going to show you here how you can set up the Hostinger. So you can choose which location. Of course, if you're in Europe, I would definitely make sure to put it in Europe as well. So in Germany, for example. For the best latency. Usually when we created I actually got this from another place. So you can click here with the init-n. You can, the malware scanner, yes. And now, of course, you need to create a password. I'm going to create this and then move to the next page. So yeah, after you choose your password, would be the URL that you can access your init-n account from. And let's show you one more step to finish your VPS, finish setup. And literally it says easy as that. So that will show you the initial setup. And then once it's done, I will show you how to access your init-n, put your chatbot there, and you will have automated basically 80% of the work for your clients. And they don't need to do the work themselves. You can also say it in the management fee. Say, this is how I also structure the deals, where I say, like, I will set up everything for you. You don't need to worry about any credentials. Also, the OpenAI keys. So I think in the past, I talked in my channel that you cannot rent your OpenAI key. For that, I think there was a little bit of unclarity into what I meant about this. Let's say your client creates his own init-n account. And especially in Europe, if you want to use OpenAI, you need to create OpenAI in Azure, which is a little bit also a headache to set up. It's not as easy as just going to OpenAI, create an account, and log in. You need to do a bunch of weird stuff to make sure that the data stays in Europe. And I thought, okay, how about I create this OpenAI key and then just share it with my client? So that wasn't technically allowed. With the Azure, it's more allowed than with OpenAI. So technically, you cannot just, if your client creates an account, you can't just give them an OpenAI key and then say, like, hey, you can use just one and then just pay me the fees or whatever. But with this setup, if you're providing your client only with the service, and then for the service, you're using your own OpenAI key, then that's absolutely fine. So this is also another thing that your client doesn't need to worry about. The only thing that here you cannot do, as I mentioned in the beginning, the client cannot be sending you his credentials for Gmail and stuff like this, and then connecting Gmail and putting some automations for his Gmail using this setup. All right, so after we are here, we can go to the dashboard, and this is what we can see for commercial. Of course, it's for profit. We want to make money on this channel. And what I want is a AI machine learning. Here is, you can see your init-n already deployed, hopefully, if you follow the setup that I showed you. If you go to manage app, this is now the new URL. And of course, the first time you create init-n hosted on your own servers, you're gonna see something like this. So after you added all the information, you can just customize the thing, what best describe. These are, I think, not really necessary. So I'm the business owner, myself. How big is your company? Less than 20 people. Google. This is just for stats. And let's skip this. And here you go. You have a fully hosted init-n. This was, honestly, if I can tell you that it took us 2 to 3 weeks to build this on Azure, and with one click you can have the same result you would have cried by now. But yes, things don't go so well. Let me show you maybe a quick example of how things would look like. I'm just going to copy paste a simple chatbot that I've built for this occasion, and I'll just add it here. So I just copied and pasted like a very simple AI agent that will work as a chatbot for later for my company. If you're interested in building very complicated chatbot, of course, this is super basic. And then you can see people online telling you to sell this for 5K. That doesn't work out, guys. But if you want to see how this looks like in production, I might actually make another video to show you what value add I also add to my chatbots to justify a fee of 500 euros per month. Doesn't just require me doing any manual work, but provide some insights for the person, for my client who actually wanted me to build a chatbot. How we do the analysis, how we also proactively try to improve the AI every couple of weeks, because you need to also gather some feedback. And I will just show you a very interesting way how we build a system that we can then confidently charge around 500 euros a month just for the management and just for running this without the OpenAI cost. So the OpenAI cost is usually also taken by the client. And of course, here you need to add your credentials, which I just added here very quickly offline. And if you want to run this in production, so that means that you want to access this. Let's see. So I put it here publicly available, and we should technically able to interact with it over here. Voila, moment of truth. Here we go. And now technically you can also see this yourself. I mean, after the video, I'm going to turn it down so you don't mess around with my AI anymore. Funny enough, just a quick off video conversation. Since I was doing videos about AI chatbots, there has been a minority of people who are super annoying and literally going to my chatbot on my website and typing, "I want to burn your AI key money." And maybe I shouldn't say this again, because maybe it would encourage some idiots out there to do the same thing again. But I don't understand, how much free time do you have to go to someone's website and they'll just try to mess with their chatbot just to make me lose money? And by the way, guys, you didn't make me lose a ton of money, but it was still annoying, like, to try to evaluate how the AI is doing. And a bunch of you are just being idiots out there. So of course, it's not directed to everybody, but if you're doing this kind of nonsense, then I blame you. So that's not cool, guys. That's really not nice. But let's give it a try. Hi, what can you do? And now it would say, "Hi, we specialize in understanding how AI, blah, blah, blah." So the chatbot is basically done. It can give you a user interface. So this is what you can basically give your clients. Of course, this is super basic. So it's not connecting to any knowledge base. It's not really giving any useful feedback. Also, it looks like it's been from 20 years old. I don't know why the default coloring in end looks just so ugly. I have to say, like, this design on my chatbot, I had to put a lot of work to design the theme of it to make it a little bit nicer, because this is hideous, I have to say. I think I said it in my other videos that I'm not a designer per se, but I know how to, when I see beautiful things, I know how to judge them. And then some people laughed at this comment. But yeah, this is not nice, guys. This is very ugly. But here you go. We've now managed to build a system that hopefully you can then charge people as a retainer. This goes to chatbots. This goes to any lead gen systems that is not connected to a certain business. So not connected to someone's CRM. You can provide these services, for example. So, for example, this is sorry for the tabs. I'm sure you also have so many tabs open. But this is a system that, for example, I give my clients access to. I love Airtable, by the way. I think it's an amazing way to create very easy user interface. So I would provide them a link here, for example, where they can just provide a lead generation request for a certain job, certain industry, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets populated here for them, whether it's qualified, is disqualified. Was just like a small example for a restaurant, but it can basically work for many other businesses. But this is what I will also encourage. So under the hood, you have end-to-end working, you have the AI agent, the researcher, you have the scraping, all this kind of stuff. And you can really use end-to-end power machine to power these apps. But then you're not really connected to, like, for example, if the client here wants to connect it to their own CRM, this is where I think is not really technically allowed. He cannot just send you his credentials of his CRM to connect it with him, regardless if of course this is not just a lead gen. It will be also sending, maybe generating personal messages and all this kind of stuff. So it will be providing some value to the client. The other way is to you let the clients doing this exact same thing that I just showed you. So give the clients the link to Hostinger, create their own thing. I would definitely recommend it not to use anything other cloud providers. And then they will provide you the access to here. So they can, let me show you, because some people still don't know. If you go here to the settings, you can, on the users, invite users. So this is how you, if he's a business owner, this is how he invites you as a consultant to enter and then build it for his own business. And in this case, he owns the hosting account, he owns the end-to-end license, and you are just a consultant building for him. I will still recommend building some sort of a retainer, but here the retainer is for you to come in and do some work. So it's less on the you manage everything for him, but more the client does a little bit of work and then you come and you do your own work. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're interested in very similar videos, I post a lot of videos on my channel about how you can interact with your clients, how you can deploy real world AI systems, and how you can make money with AI. So if you find this video useful, make sure to check other videos just like it in my channel. Take care and see you next time.